So I'm trading this break of hive day VWAP right now. I'm on my top one futures account. I just got this brand new 50K, and we're going to be taking all the trades live here. So tune in. We're trading to the orders at 20. It looks like we might actually get stopped out here right now, but that's all right. We're going to be looking to take another trade, that's for sure. So yeah, right now on ES, we've been pretty bullish all day here. And I've got Bookmap pulled up on my other screen. So I'm trading to the orders at 20. There's also orders at 30. Basically, there was this 600 block at 20, and the orders got pulled. So now there's only now there's only like 150, kind of 200 orders there. But that's not to say that they can't still get filled. Overall, pretty extended up here at the highs, but I am going to give this a shot because these are the kind of days where we can just drift higher, and I want to be in on that action. So yeah, this is a trade and drawdown right now, but we'll see how it goes. How have you guys' trading been today? I'm up. I'm locked out of my personal account. Took a trade in that earlier today, and now I switched over to the funded account. So yeah, I really don't like this trade right now, but you know, you just can't you just can't pull it and eat that loss. You got to see the idea through. And yeah, so I just got this fresh 50K, and I just want to trade it live. I want to take all the trades live, and yeah, see if we can't get a payout with it. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Maybe went a little heavy on this one, 375. Really want to be risking more like 300 per trade, but that's all right. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get stopped out here, but what have you guys traded today? And are you using prop firms or personal capital? Because I feel like that's a pretty hot topic. And, I don't know. We don't all have the opportunity to trade personal capital, but I certainly do enjoy it because it's like I just made $100 and boom, I could take that out and go buy lunch. If anyone uses Bookmap, I was just doing some deep dive into Bookmap because yesterday we had a delta of minus 17K at the open, but we didn't. Yeah, so here we're going to get stopped out. Yeah. All right, that's fine. What we're going to do, the game plan is now find it basically to get a buy-in around this 5900 level because that has been the level to be buying at today. So basically what I'm looking at is what price has paid. And if we look at this psychological 5900 level, this candle paid, and that's at 5900. Then again, this same price paid. And then you can see this thing might have just stopped me out and is now turning around. But using the top, see, I just made a mistake. I went a little too heavy on that. So I don't have much bullets left in the tank right now. So I'm gonna try. Hmm. See, so I only have like 120 bucks left. Makes my max daily loss is 500. I really that was just an oversized trade, and that's totally my fault. Um, so now I have to see if I can't get like a really low entry, something at the VWAP, like something at the VWAP, and just have a really tight stop and just try and just try and milk it for like a larger 2R, 3R move and see if we can't make some of that back up. But on Nvidia here, we got Nvidia. They had some news today about making a deal with Saudi Arabia. So that is definitely one of the main contributing factors to why we're pumping so hard right now. NQ still looks really bullish up there. YM's not looking as great. So I know James took a long on that. Hopefully that's doing all right for him. He probably could have gotten out for like a break even trade on that. Basically, I know I just need to wait for my setup. My setup's a break of Hive they view up. This was a great candle to take it on, but just no follow through. So that's gonna happen sometimes. Yeah, because see, I just locked out the risk setting, so I can't lose any more of that than what I have allotted today. Because I just don't want to. If I buy here, I'm calling this is the low, and that's not right. I feel like with trading, so much of trading is just about timing, having good timing on entries, and making sure that your timing is the best as it can be. So for whatever that is for your setup, and yeah, this would just be a poor timing call for me if I tried to get in long there. So yeah, this is what we're game planning here. Something like this with a stop under this candle and then trading back to the highs. And if anything, I'd be trading to the orders at 59.30 because there's about 207 orders at 59.30 on Bookmap. So that's like my X-ray vision into the market. But also, do we have the steam for that today? We've rallied already. I don't know what this is. We've rallied already today, basically 100 points. So that's a good move. That's a good move for sure. Yeah, and so I'm just gonna be going live on X and ASFX TV whenever I see a trade that I'm liking and that I'm getting in. It feels tough that the first trade I got into is a loss on this, but that's all right. I that's what it's about: showing the mistakes, showing the wins, showing the losses, and just being as transparent as possible because I think it's important in this industry to showcase everything. So if I went in with two contracts. Okay, so this is going to be my entry signal. If we close above here, and I'm going to be entering with two micro contracts. Yeah, as it's closing up here, I like this. It's like sometimes it's not going to be the one that wasn't the entry, and now this is. But let's as soon as this candle closes, I'm gonna get in here. Wow, I probably could have gotten in earlier, but I've been burned on mid candle entries many times before. So we're just gonna get in there with 2 and drag that to lows. Actually, we can get in with one more. Yeah, we'll get in with one more there. And we will I'm just gonna trade up to this orders at 30. Let's see if we have the strength to get up there. Because it looks like we could definitely get to 20. 20's got some heat coming on. So let's see, the entry price is 13.50, way up there. Yeah, and this is where it's like sometimes you get burned on a mid candle entry and sometimes you don't. And there's been so many times where I'll get in on this candle and then it'll wick lower and it'll just now look like a wick through the high of day VWAP. So I've learned if anything, it's just best to wait for the full candle closure. What I also like about this trade is that we broke this structure with a lot of power. That's a really strong bullish bar, and breaking that structure, I do like that a lot. That's a great entry. So we're really only going for 15 points here, which is a very doable number. I'm just checking my other screen here. The orders at 30 did get, no, they're still there. Yeah, we got 212 at 30. So that's good to know. Yeah, so I'm trading my top 1 futures account right now. I personally like trading my personal account more. I got a couple $1,000 in there that I threw around, but I'm already green on that account, so I'm just trading this one now to see if we can't get this to a payout. I want to get more experience trading the afternoon session, especially on days like this where we have a tendency to just trend. And the reason I say days like this is there's a news catalyst. There's news catalysts on Nvidia. There's positive trade deals going on. So this is one of those days where we just see a drift higher without a full retest of some of those significant levels that we would normally see being tested. And yeah, if we just look back, it's like you could see the moves are happening relatively quickly. When we are moving, we're moving. So that's why, and you could see, like I said, I wanted to get in down here, but that's just not the proper process. That would be me calling this candle as the low before I know it's a low, and this is making basically new lows every time it rejects off the VWAP. So to just buy there would be, kind of the amateur trade. At least for my system, it would be me just thinking about trading rather than, or like me trading what I think, not trading what I actually see. And honestly, this might be a trade that probably goes like, 20, it could be 20 minutes. It could be a 2-hour trade, to be honest. So we'll definitely, we'll see how it's going in 5-10 minutes and see what's going on. What's everyone been trading? Is there any questions or topics that you've had on your mind a lot recently that, you just want to talk about? I feel like in trading, there's so many different things to think about that it can be overwhelming, but also that's why I like streaming and stuff, because I could just, talk through some of the things I've been thinking about and, just share some of the concepts that I've been working on. So right now for me, it's adding Bookmap into my trading. I've been struggling with holding my trades to their full target or their intended target. So adding Bookmap allows me to literally see the orders. And I will actually just, I'll pull this up right now. I'll take a photo here so that we can see what I'm looking at on the side of my computer, because I think it's just a great indication of where the orders are in the market and what might have a higher potential chance of happening. I'm just seeing if that went over. So this is what I'm looking at here on Bookmap. So you can see we're at 59.12 And then we have 70 or 175 orders at 59.20, and then 212 orders at 59.30, which is what's giving me the confidence to be in this long, this late into the afternoon, this extended off the daily VWAP. Also, just important to note that we had 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish candles, 15-minute candles. So seeing two and now three bearish candles consolidating, I do like that a lot. And since I was a little aggressive on the first entry, what I'm thinking of doing is actually adding in a little more and trailing the stop up to '08 here. Maybe once we push off, when we make, so here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to set a limit stop buy for three more contracts there. And then if that gets filled, I will pull up the stop. So I'm adding into a winning position here, but I'm also mitigating my risk because once this breaks, here, we'll see it like this. Once price breaks this level, now we're creating a new structure high, kind of like a new swing high in my opinion, in my read of the market. So that's telling me that I can now pull the stop up a little bit. And if the trade wants to work, it's going to keep going in that direction. So I'm just closing this on the other computer real fast. Because what we've been seeing is when price is moving, it's moving. So, given that the first trade I did oversize a little bit, just absolutely oversized, I wasn't totally aware of how much contracts I was putting on. I just took a bigger loss, and I only have a small amount of drawdown to play with now. So I'm trying to milk the winner to the best of my ability, but also keeping my drawdown in check and being aware of that. So let's just take a look at Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia is looking good right now. That pop, I like that for our trade. Do you guys prefer ES or NQ? Because I feel like it's an interesting one. It shows a lot about who you are as a trader if you prefer one over the other. I know I prefer ES because it just is slightly cleaner for me, a little bit more slower moving, which I appreciate, and yeah, it just gives me a little bit more time to think. And the stops are always very clear, very obvious for me on ES in comparison to NQ. Pull this up on the side here. You can see this is where I'm going to be adding in. And this is also the afternoon for you, you know. And this is kind of what I get for trading in the afternoon, just a lot of drawdown. I made my money in this move right here, and then now I'm just flipping over to the other accounts. But honestly, as this comes against me, I'm thinking of just closing this thing and calling it here because I don't know. I'm not liking this trade one bit. So oh, well, there you go. That's how fast it changes. So see, that's exactly why I didn't enter mid candle on this one because just as quick as it looks bullish or bearish, it can flip like that in a second. And now the trade looks totally different. This now looks like a nice sweep of all these stops. It swept the lows here. It swept this candle low, which if you remember from like just a few minutes ago, I said if this gets if this high at 1915 gets taken, I'm going to trail the stop to this level. So now what it did is anybody who trailed their stop preemptively and too early just got tapped. and now it might be ready to go. I'm looking at Bookmap here. Still, the same orders are on. You do have to be careful every once in a while that Bookmap orders will be spoofed. So, yep. So I just got filled. I just heard that in my headphones. I'm gonna drag this up, and now I'm in with the same amount of risk, but a new adjusted stop loss at the next level of structure. So now this is what my trade looks like. Someone might say this is tight, but also I'd say if this is going to work, this stop is going to hold, and that's why I set this limit, because now we have a new level of structure that's been broken, and also just gets me in at the exact price that I want. It's something that I am experimenting with. I don't trade with limit orders except for if I'm adding into a position and I see a key level that I want to be added in at that specific level, because we can just keep going back to this high of day VWAP example where when this got taken, if you had a limit order in at 11, you're getting filled at 11 and you're not going to get the crap price like I got at 13. What up, Manny? What up, Manny? We're trying to trade this new 50K I just got to a payout here. So I'm going to be taking all the trades live, and that's going to make for a good compilation after as well. How was your trading day? What's everyone's P&L right now? Is everyone green, red? How's everyone doing? And did anyone get caught short in this market right now? Because that's the real question. Did anyone get caught short in this thing? I know Austin was talking about shorting it on stream, but that is not my bread and butter. Yeah, and I know, Manny, you just started trading live as well. So one shout out, Manny. He's a great trader and has got a lot of funded accounts with Top Step and Top One right now that he's pushing for some payouts on. So give him a follow on Twitter and make sure to tune into his live streams, because when are you doing them, Manny? Like in the morning at 9:30? Yeah, I'm just watching Bookmap here. I'm going to look just to finish my point about the Delta. I haven't been checking the Delta at all today because I really don't care what it is, but it is plus 7K. And I learned more about the Delta. What it really is just tracking the market orders. It's not tracking any limits, any stops, just market orders. So, yesterday, just to do a quick lesson on this, yesterday, we had this Trump kind of tariff candle overnight, and then we opened up, sold off, and basically just consolidated around the daily VWAP for the majority of the New York session until about 3 hours after the open, and then we finally found our rally. But this thing was literally a delta of minus 17K. And I have never seen a delta higher or lower than than I think maybe 11 or 13. So I was like, oh man, there's no way this thing doesn't come lower. So I took an initial long right here at the open, and I had to stop at the low. Then it ended up getting swept. Now the delta's minus 17K, and I'm thinking, well, we could probably short this thing then. If it's not going to go long, then it's going to go short. So what did I do? I shorted it, flipped the bias, and ended up taking another L on that idea. Only because I didn't really understand the delta enough. And something that I think is really important to note is that the delta doesn't determine the bias on the day. The delta only determines the bias in the moment from market orders. And also, I added Bookmap as a whole just as a tool to have better level finding. I didn't add Bookmap as a bias tool. So I found an inconsistency in my decision making because I was using the delta basically to help me find a bias when I already know how to find a bias. So something at the Tampa boot camp that I got to speak on stage actually for a few minutes about was just consistency in your trading. And are you making decisions? are you making consistent decisions with a system or with a set of like rules or emotions? So that's just a good question to audit yourself in. And if you ever find yourself like me adding something to your trading, go back the next week, the next day, and see, did you really use it for the intended purpose, or did you use it for something else? So as we're coming up here to these orders at 20, it's fun to watch them on Bookmap because you can see as we get closer to that price level, the number starts to get smaller. And that's how you know when the number gets smaller that the orders are starting to get eaten up. And then you can watch the volume balls and that'll show you, is it a lot of volume? Is it a little bit of volume? So I'm just watching here on my other screen as Bookmap is just running. We'll see if we can get to those orders at 20 on this initial push here. Let's see what Manny said. Yeah, 9:15 start time. Yeah, so he's doing his live streams every day at 9:15 East Coast time, trying to get his first payout. So it was interesting because I'd level at 58.67, taking a long there right at the open worked perfectly today. What was that level from? 58.67. Let's see. Let's go to the 30-minute here. Yeah, I mean, this is just out here. 58.67. Interesting. 36 and 16. 74. Interesting. I wonder where you got that level from. That is interesting to me. I always love finding levels because you can use something that I saw a higher low I marked off on the 1 hour 4 hour. Okay. Yeah, because I saw something Isaac did was Isaac Rivera, Big Tick Energy, is he actually set it to bar charts. And if you go to, I unchecked these thin bars. If you go to bar charts, it's very interesting. Actually, it's interesting the way that you can read them, and specifically like this 58.32, this becomes a level because there's opening closures here. I don't know exactly how he read it, but he was just finding where we had these levels of opening and closing. It's like this right here, this zone, this 6,030 zone, that's definitely a level. If anything, I remember that being a level like in the bull run before. So I don't know, using bar charts too is an interesting way to create some levels as well. He had a very interesting presentation on overall like using volume and volume profile to find his levels and then trading from level to level. Yeah, so I'll take a picture so we can see an updated picture of the Bookmap because the orders are still on. And it's important to note that sometimes these orders will get spoofed. Technically, I think it is illegal to spoof orders. Someone told me that. So I'm not like 100% sure. I think it was in a podcast with Scott Pulcini in Austin. So let's go. So see, we'll look at the difference here. 175, 212, 199, and 213. So that's just saying these orders are still in the book. It's still there. And there's sometimes that these colors will change on the Bookmap, but the orders will stay the same. So that's why, even though it is cool to use the heat map feature, I think it's most important to be looking at the current order book, the COB. This is the COB, and be looking at exactly what orders are on the book at any given time. So, okay, so Manny, how are you going to use that level to trade from today? Because I know you didn't take any trades, like you said. So, what did you have a game plan, or was it like potentially a reactionary level that you were looking to short it from? I like that. We're making new highs, 59.16. Let's see where we're at here on P&L. Yep, I'm just going to try and ride this all the way up to 29 because that'll make up my losses for the day and be a little bit in profit. So Because now 30, I'm looking 30 still there. Let's see, we're about to try and eat up these orders at 20. We got 200. I'm just watching the book map right now. There's a lot of flashing lights and stuff, but I'm watching the COB on the side, like I said, to see the orders. How I showed you, it said like 217 or something. I'm just watching those orders dwindle down as it gets closer to that level. And I'm gonna actually zoom in here. Yeah, and at 20, about half of 20 is one singular person. So he's using those levels of support and resistance target to take trades off them with VWAP. Yeah, I know. When we get a nice level alignment and the VWAP alignment, it's all hands on deck. So something I have been working on as well is see how we opened up this candle extremely bullish. That was this candle. It was the open of a new 15-minute candle. And something I'm working on is trailing my stop to that level particularly. However, if I did that on this specific trade, I don't feel like I'm giving myself enough room. And I do really want to work on milking my trades, taking them to the full intended target. So with that in mind, I'm not going to lock the stop, but I think if you're in this trade, a very valid way to basically lock in those gains is to be trailing to this 15-minute candle low. Because if this next 15-minute candle makes okay, so we're watching these orders about to get filled at 20. We're at 1925. 59.37, I definitely could see 59.37 getting hit. It's going Bookmap's going a little bit crazy right now. It's just hovering right under the orders at 20 actually keep increasing. It's now almost at it's at 225 now, and it was at 177 before. So that means people are putting in those orders to take profit there. And this is where I don't have enough experience to know might price reject from that level or not. So let's see, up 150. Let's see. Didn't eat them yet. Honestly, Manny, I want to be full in, full out, just because I have a small amount of contracts on. But I went quiet there because I'm tempted to trail the stop to this candle. But now that this is coming down, I'm like, I'd rather just sit. I'm only risking $150, so I think I'd rather try and see the whole idea through instead of piecing out, because I don't know, piecing out just hasn't really done much for me. I trade a lot better. I make better decisions when I'm full in and full out. So now it's going to be interesting. This is a trade report where in my post-market session, I'm going to review, did these orders at 59.20 end up acting as resistance, or will they act as support and help push us through to 59.25? I see. So 59.25, the orders, okay, yeah, so we still got the orders at 30, but now we have some orders moved to 59.25. So that's another good take profit level if you don't have the patience maybe to wait until 30, if it even wants to go there. Because at the end of the day, who really knows what's going on, and it's just going to do what it wants to do. But this is just a bull market, and you just can't get caught selling in this type of environment. But you can actually see this thing, it would have held. The stop would have held. Would it have? I can't tell. 16. I think that would have held. And let's just see, for the heck of it, if I trailed it, it's only $70, so I'm just gonna leave it there. I'd rather leave the risk on the table and see my whole idea through versus piecing out of it or something like that, or just locking the stop, because it's like if I lock the stop there, I know I should just take the whole trade there instead. Like I should just take the trade and be done. So this did make a new candle high, a new 1 minute candle high. Let's see how NQ's doing. Yeah, NQ's just ripping face up there. Damn. YM is stuck. I don't know. Hopefully James did all right in that trade. But honestly, as this trade is taking a while, I'm gonna leave the trade on exactly as is. So my entry was on the break of high of day VWAP at 13. I'm taking profit at I'll probably take profit at 28.50 because I always like to front run those orders a little bit. There's no reason to like just how we saw, right? If I was trading to the orders at 20, I never got filled on the orders at 20. So that's why it's really smart to be putting your take profit in like 50 cents to 1 point below the big order block that you see, because sometimes it just rejects it. And like you can see right now, it's rejecting it. But this might just be a slower moving trade. So we're going to let this one go. And yeah, I'm going to end the stream here, but I'll be back on tomorrow on ASFX TV early in the morning, 9:30 market open. And yeah, then I'll be back for an afternoon session as well if we find something. So hopefully everyone has a great rest of their trading session, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.